CAI Thoothukudi and Director of Comrade Polymers and Plantation Private Limited to be the moderator for the last session. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. We had a lovely first session, and the overall goal of this particular MSME conference is being to select a diverse range of products, manufacturers, so that we get a gentle idea. As you're all aware in the inaugural session, that the MSME sector is the heart of the Indian industry, and it is diverse and it needs special attention because of the prevailing problems that have come in the Indian economy. So I think it is very important that we all unite, as it was mentioned by one of the conveners, and we highlight the problems that we face in a structured way, that we get a good support from the state government. So as we move into the second session of this program, we have another range of diverse eminent speakers list with us. And I would like to start the first session with Mr. Rajaratnam. I think I'm changing the schedule a bit. Mr. Rajaratnam needs to leave early, so I will be calling him first. Mr. Rajaratnam is the proprietor of SR Choir and SR Engineering, and he has 20 years experience in manufacturing and installation equipments of coconut food, coconut shell, and coconut husk based projects. He's well known around the world among the coconut husk based horticulture products producers and buyers. We are very privileged to have him as one of our speakers, and he's installed more than 700 installations in coconut growing countries all over the world, and has presented papers in many international forums, as well as a resource for a speaker in this particular subject. So we are very lucky to have him, and I will now request Mr. Rajaratnam to give his presentation. Over to you, Mr. Rajaratnam.
Thank you, Mr. The chairperson, Mr. Praveen Matthew. It's nice talking doing a presentation out of, I am part of the CII Coimbatore. I was a co-convener 2 years back also on Agri panel. Now I am on the Agri panel also in CII. I know it's a wonderful platform, fantastic platform, which will be more and more connecting to the industries as well as to the new buyers. So this, as of now, see, coconut is one of our very, very, very important crop in Tamil Nadu. So the world #1, the biggest growers of coconut is Indonesia by hectareage. But next to Indonesia, India is on hectareage. But in number of nuts, India is #1 in the world. We are producing around 20 billion nuts per year in India. But we do very little, what was my observation is we do very little value addition on coconut meat and water when compared to the other countries like Philippines, Indonesia, because the coconut price is very high when compared to the other countries because it is locally consumed. But we top in the world on the coconut. I'm going by part. As well as you see the slides, where you see we'll be coming from the outer husk, the value addition that can be done on the outer husk, then the value addition that can be done on the coconut shell, hard shell, and then on the meat, and then on the coconut water. So India as of a whole, India is very successful in doing on the low value product on the coconut husk and the coconut shell. We know coconut husk being thousands of containers, products of coconut husk being exported to Tuticorin itself. I think almost 3,000 containers move out of this through Tuticorin container through Tuticorin port. And next, the coconut activated carbon. You know, Tuticorin itself has a lot of activated carbon, which value adds the coconut shell in a big way. But we are not able to still. India is lacking on the value addition on the coconut meat and the water. Next slide, please. So this is how a coconut integrated coconut processing looks like. They take part by part, like a coconut husk. Once it is dehusked, then comes the nut, and the nut is the deshelled, and the meat is taken out, and the milk is extracted from the coconut meat, and the coconut water extracted is packed into different packagings. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is also a pictorial diagram of the products of the different things. Now, see the coconut husk in the center, the brown color, where the standard see totally in from coconut. It is a multi-dimensional thing where you will have almost 100 to 200 products are being produced all over the world. It starts from the husk to the water. So just from the husk, you have a bigger, it produces fibers, and fibers are used for the on the homemades like doormats, floor mats, and the peat is exported in a big favor, producing for using for the agriculture purpose, the modern agriculture in greenhouses and polyhouses for growing tomatoes, and all sort of tropical vegetables are grown in Europe and cold countries on cocoa peat. And next is the coconut shell. When you come to the coconut shell, it is being value added as an activated carbon. It is first carbonized and converted into activated carbon, and it is made into different grades and supplied to, mainly it goes for the gold smelting in South Africa. So it supports in the pollution industry in a big way. And next comes the coconut meat. Coconut meat, and from the meat, the milk is produced and followed by the water. And it is packed, and India, now a lot of countries are importing in a big way. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. Just know the coconut husk weighs around 250 grams. It is being value added to 4 rupees. This is what the value addition. I'm just totally, I'll come out with an how much value addition of a 15 rupee nut in India, how much value addition can be done on this nut. This is the aim of the presentation on it. Next slide, please. So this is how the different machineries that we install throughout the world in producing coconut fiber, and coconut fiber is being baled into big bales and shipped to China. And also a lot of value addition. The fiber moves to Kerala, where it is being value addition to floor mats, door mats, and a lot of even geotextile materials. So fiber plays a major role in India. Next. So next, the peat. While processing the coir fiber, there is a material, spongy material called peat that is getting extracted. So for before this industry, until 2005, this material was burnt. Now, at that time, I came into this industry and I used to present papers like you're burning your dollars. Now, the entire cocoa peat, the spongy material is being processed and it is being exported in the form of bales in a big way. And this is going year by year, the demand is rising by 20 to 25%. Now, the entire husk, the market for the cocoa peat in the world is for the entire husk on the earth. So it's consumed in agriculture sector. So it is being used in a big way. Next, please. So this is a shot taken in Netherlands, where our cocoa peat all the way goes to Netherlands, and they grow anthuriums, and it directly goes for an auction, for international auction like that. Next slide, please. So these our cocoa peat is being in a big way in Israel, or a lot of in Spain. They use it for growing tomatoes. That is, this is a polyhouse grown tomatoes in sun. Grown in this this particular melon is grown in Russia and cold countries. Watermelon is grown on coir pith. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next comes the coconut shell. Average and weight of the coconut shell is around 120 grams, and valuation of 3 to 4 rupees is being made Now, next please. And there are a set of machineries where the coconut shell is being converted into charcoal in a controlled atmosphere, and then this charcoal is activated by steam, and it is used for a lot of pollution controls. Like now, mainly all the your homemade water filters or any ROs, they're using a lot of activated carbon based on produced from coconut shell is used for their filtering purposes. Next slide, please. And this is how the picture of the charcoal looks like. Next slide, please. Now comes to the major part of this thing, where we people are lagging in thing. We are very primitive on processing the coconut meat. I foresee a different thing on this, but here the coconut milk plays a major role. It is actually in our culture, it is a big functional food, but the products out of meat was downplayed by the soya lobby in US, and has been made that eating coconut is very bad for health. As soon as you get into a doctor, they will ask to stop eating coconut. But it is now it has been redefined like that. It is a functional food, and it is though it's a saturated fat, it is now an medium chain saturated fat. This medium chain saturated fat is mostly monolaurin. Monolaurin is a very, very important thing. It is found only next to mother's milk. It is found in coconut. Okay. So this monolaurin is very, very important for developing our immunity in our body. So that is why the babies get immunity, and most of the coconut, the baby foods are made out of coconut. We are still unaware. They doesn't highlight that it is being made out of coconut because the raw material is from the developing countries. So what happens? This coconut, it is downplayed in the milk and baby foods by not saying that coconut is being used for producing that. But the export potential is very, very high. The maximum value is on that. Coconut of one coconut of value of 15 rupees can be added to 24 rupees. So followed by a few pictures which will be more informative for everybody who is viewing. Next, please. So these are the different products that is being made out of coconut milk. See, you can see one product called So Delicious. They are doing around importing a lot of coconut powders, and they are converting into milk. And a $500 million dollar company, that one, they produce different and support the vegan market. They produce flavored milks, or even it is flavored milks, cakes, and ice creams are being produced with this coconut milk. So this for a non-dairy product like so this coconut milk is used as a non-dairy in the non-dairy segment as well as in the vegan segment. Next, please. So this is that company that produces a lot of products from the coconut milk. They produce ice creams, flavored coconut milks. They blend it with almond. Like that, a lot of products are being made. Next, please. Next, yeah. See, this is a very interesting aspect. When there is an option in Starbucks where coconut milk is a non-dairy option. Right? If you want a coffee or a tea with coconut milk, it is available. I have myself tasted this in US. So it's now they are a little bit because of this lack of supply. So in certain outlets in Starbucks, they are not providing because of the lack of supply. So look into the huge potential of this market, but still it's an unexplored market. It's a developing market. So next slide, please. So another big market like coconut milk is being used to produce a lot of cosmetics like skin creams Yeah, mostly it is all used as a screen cream. You know, traditionally most of our people would have crossed without coconut oil by applying it for it's an antiseptic. It is like a anti-protozoal. So it plays a major role now that it's being used in the high-end market for producing face creams and moisturizing creams. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So these are the lot of packings that is being done on the different parts of the world. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are the packings, big packings like container packings being done. This is a Franklin Baker is the biggest company in the world who process around 2 million nuts per day. That is 20 lakh nuts per day. It's a huge company where actually there's now it was bought by an Indian, one Mr. called Chandramohan, I think, and he was an Indian origin in Singapore, and see he bought that in Philippines. Now it's working in a big way on coconuts. Next, please. Yeah, this is another interesting thing, a big market for this virgin coconut oil in Japan. See, in Japan, you can't kill dogs. Dogs has to be allowed to die naturally. So what they do is, as it ages, it gets Alzheimer. So they found that by providing, adding virgin coconut oil in their food, and they said their Alzheimer's are cured and it is slowed down. So now, so this has picked up a big market, and I see a big potential on this virgin oil or a coconut oil in the pet food market, please. Next, please. So these are the different types of this coconut oil used to produce cosmetics. Next, please. So next comes the coconut water. You see, when you go to a lot of the big industries in Philippines or another countries, they concentrate this coconut water and it is being shipped as frozen to US and Europe. So then it is diluted and it is blended with a lot of mocktails, and it is given it as a strawberry with coconut water, pineapple, mango with coconut water, like this. So this has already grown in like countries like Thailand, India, and Philippines. Sorry, Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia. But in India, I did a study like we were around a coconut water worth around 4 to 5,000 crores of coconut water is put in on drains. Still unaware. I am talking to the coconut board and I am telling them this is some thing has to be done, which is being like similar thing. What happened 20 years back? We were burning the cocoa peat. Now we are on the cocoa peat export is alone has touched I think 2,000 crores. So now with this potential coconut water is being going to drains. I'm just putting this creating awareness on this in a lot of forums, but I think it is a little it will take some time to understand this value addition. So next slide, please. Different ways of coconut water being packed. Next slide, please. So you see this coconut water US import in volumes. Like I have some data until 2014 only, but you see the exporting countries, we are not there, but still we are number one in the world on the nuts production. 20 billion nuts we produce, but we never export a coconut water because we don't have a proper systems or awareness on the potential of the coconut water around the world. Next slide, please. Yeah, Zico is an Coca-Cola brand. They use a lot of coconut waters, like they blending with mango, they blending with pineapple, strawberries, like that. And they do Zico is a Coca-Cola brand. Next, please. So these are all the different types of brands, different brands in the shelves of US. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. And this is an one called this is called coconut flour. Then see, this is a little bit coming to an blending with wheat or something like this. Is actually a punnak, a hygienic way of processing punnak, and they make it into and called coconut flour. This flour is blended and used for making a lot of bakery items, and this is also picking up, and this adds on to vegan also. Like it is substituting some vegan foods. Thank you. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Okay, this is how it's being. It is highly rich in fibers. Next slide, please. This is how the coconut cake flour. The coconut flour is gluten-free and a lot of fibers. It is being used for an paleo dieters. It is and it is very useful for the gluten-sensitive people and allergic and even diabetes people. Next, please. Yeah, this is the total value addition. A coconut can be made for like 50. A coconut in India average it weighs weighs around 500 grams, and is the coconut husk, the outer husk can be valued to 4 rupees. The shell value addition is 3 rupees. Milk can be valued to 24 rupees. Water can be value added to another 5 rupees. Flour value addition to be 4 rupees. Total, it is around 40 rupees value addition can be done on a coconut. I'm talking about only bulk. When it comes to retail, it is different. Retail, like for retail packing on a tetra, on a milk or a thing, it goes up to 80 to 100 rupees. A coconut can be value added. I'm talking about on the bulk value addition when you supply as an bulk supplier to an co-packers. Next, please.
That's all, sir. That's all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I thought this is, thank you very much. This slide, more or less that I'm into this industry for last 20 years, and we are installing a lot of projects. I have been invited by a lot of countries like Papua New Guinea to come to their countries and conduct the coconut festival and create awareness among the coconut entrepreneurs in other countries. Now I'm doing it in India through the CA platform. 2018, we did a coconut festival on CI platform in Coimbatore. It went out very well. We had some 40 stalls and we had a footfall of 6,000 to 7,000 people footfall. So this has to go on a long way because this is a very important product in coconut is a very important crop in Tamil Nadu. You know, in Tamil Nadu, 2/3 of Indian coconut is in Tamil Nadu. Only 1/3 is even people think that it's in Kerala or some other, but 2/3 of coconut plantations are available only in Tamil Nadu. So I think this will be more. This presentation will be more useful for an eye opening for a lot of people who is looking for opportunities in the coconut industry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me a wonderful opportunity to do this presentation. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Myself is Mr. Bhattacharya from. May I have a question, please?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Myself, Mr. Bhattacharya. Actually, I gone through this presentation of Mr. Raja Menon. It's a wonderful presentations and it's a learning process for me regarding coconut. During my discussions with the choir board in Alleppey a few years back, actually, I came to know that this square feet of this, what is I'm talking about, the coconut husk, the square feet is exported a lot in the Australia, New Zealand, and all these things. And there is problems basically facing by the exporters that's due to this Australian Quarantine Inspection Service, that is AQIS. They have a stringent policy of importing these square feet, where our exporters are really getting some troubles from, particularly from Tamil Nadu and all these things. So how we want to address this? Basically, the square feet are carrying lots of seeds, molds, and the animal products, because during these processings, I would like to address this issue because this is the burning problems in the Tamil Nadu and all these things. the
Yeah.
states of these exports, and its exports is rejected because of these seeds, molds, and the animal excretions what they are carrying on the soils also. So this is the problems of exporters in Tamil Nadu. How you want to address this?
Yeah, this is an really an thing that is a threat to this industry as well as I used to tell these people. You see, this industry is a very young industry. I would say it is only a 20 years old industry. It is not like cotton
Yes.
or something else, 100 years, 150 years. The technology development on the processing is very less. What I'll say is like around 30% is only has been covered. So this started as an industry as an 4 rupees as a base price in 20 years back. Now it has reached around 30 rupees. Okay, so now the enough cash flow or the value is there for the people to reinvest into the industry where mechanization of peat has been started. So like the cleaning processes and sterilizing process have been started. So when the demand is very, very high. That is why even with all these material people, it is getting shipped because the demand in the world is growing by 20%. So these type of industries, which is under unorganized segment, so only in countries like India, it is workable. So the technology development is going on. We are doing a big R&D. So it will come under enclosure. Now they put it on floors for drying, which that is the problem where all these animal matters or these weed seeds get into it. But now the technology has come and the industry itself affordable, financially affordable because of the price increase. So now the drying systems and the washing systems are being brought in. And this is the only solution, which will be, I think, another 2 to 3 years, it will get solved.
That's very nice. Actually, in my presentations, I covered 1-2 slides on that. Actually, what is I got the inputs from this Tamil Nadu or the Kerala Choir boards. This problem. This problem is basically the quarantine problems of importing country. We are the exporters. So thank you very much, Mr. It's really a fantastic presentation. So I got a lot of information from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rajaratnam. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We will, I think, follow the same protocol of Q&A. Probably all the participants who are taking part, kindly put up your questions in the chat box, and we will take it up towards the end of the session. Is that okay? Oh, Mr. Rajaratnam, would like to leave early, right? That's
yeah. That's yeah.
So, okay. Any other questions for Mr. Rajaratnam before he leaves? Is there anybody else who wants to ask a question or put it up in the chat box? George? Nobody, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is, in case any question comes up, Mr. Rajaratnam, we will send it to you by mail. Please be kind enough to.
It's my pleasure. This is my business. It's my pleasure. I will definitely.
Thank you so much for the eye opener. It was a very detailed presentation. I'm sure everybody who saw it has enjoyed it, learned more from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.